so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you're joining me from. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Accept my greeting according to your time zone. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. You can be among the first to receive it. Then go to the comment section at all times. Leave your comment, drop your contribution. If you have suggestions, make it out there. If you have any criticism, put it down on the comment section. It will make us to get better, presenting you a better program. Thank you.
Look at what happened in Lagos State. Look at what transpired in Lagos State. Lagos State. A state where everybody, you can say that people who have some little awareness. Lagos State, that people, we believe that Lagos State is the center of excellence. Forget about the Abuja they're talking about. We believe that people in Lagos are exposed to things. But yet, look at what happened in Lagos State. With all their exposure, with all their wisdom and knowledge, there's none of them that doesn't know what Tinubu stands for. Every single one of them knows what Tinubu stands for. They know. It is not that they know what Tinubu stands for. But yet, did you see what they were doing during the election? You saw what they were doing during the election. They were still going to support him. Simply because it is their tribe man. There are so many people. It is so hurtful that even people who you think are educated, people that are living abroad, living in the same country, ask them the reason why they are supporting that man, that drug baron, to be a president. There is no single reason they have except that he is their own tribesman, their own kingsman. There's nothing wrong in supporting your kingsman, I tell you. But what is wrong is forcing people to be where they don't want to be. So, in order to force people, the best thing is to allow people to go their separate ways so that you can have your kingsmen to choose the best among them. Because as long as we continue to move around this criminality, as long as we continue to allow ourselves in this cage, you can never get the best out of the tribes we are talking about. These three major tribes, you cannot get the best among them. It will always be rotating among the criminals. It will always be among the criminals. Even if today they decide to give the presidency to Biafra land, I tell you, they are going to choose the worst person, the worst man, the most. If they decide today that the president should go to Igbo land, let me tell you, they will choose the worst person among them and give it to him. And that is how they function. From the old, that is how Nigeria is structured. When they come, they pick the worst above the intelligent one, and then that worst person will now oppress every other person with their criminality and fraud, and make sure it has now become a system. They will force you to key into that system. They will never choose the best among you. There is no election that produces the best in Nigeria. None, ever. There has never been any election that produces the best. The worst always come out because they have the money. And even when they don't have it, they will gather money to sponsor. The caliphate will sponsor that worst man to make sure that he comes out. When they brought the late Muhammad Buhari, are you telling me that the late Muhammad Buhari is the wisest man in the north? Are you telling me that the late Muhammad Buhari is the smartest man in the north? He is not. He is nowhere in education compared to other northerns. In fact, he is the dullest person you have in the north, Muhammad Buhari. One of the dullest person you have in the north. When he ruled the first time in the military uniform, he didn't achieve anything. He didn't achieve it. It was just force, and force. He didn't achieve anything. In fact, it was Idiagbon that was taking action and doing things, making things to happen. It was Idiagbon who was on the field making things to happen. And after he was thrown out, he returned back to his farm. In that farm, 50 cows that he has did not increase. They remain. Somebody who could do something as simple as a cow that you feed and let them increase. He did not. And while he left office, he never goes back to school one day to improve himself. We have never heard that he established any NGO. We never heard that he read any book or he wrote any book. None. At least every other of his mates, they went back to school. Gowon went back to school. Obasanjo went back to school. So many other, Danjuma went back to school. So many of them went to school to improve themselves and improve their knowledge and wisdom. But the late Muhammad Buhari never did so. He remained in Daura. And all of a sudden, the time came. They went and brought the worst of the worst. And today, look at where you are. And as if that is not enough. Today, the only problem is not that is not even who become the president, is that the person they are choosing, a drug baron, with evidence, overwhelming evidence, left, right, and center. And people are coming out, clapping and supporting him. They are supporting him. The worst of the worst. That is the person they are choosing again. Look at the vice president. In this case, this one is even more worse. That even in the case of late Muhammad Buhari, you can say Osibanjo was a little bit knowledgeable, even when his knowledge was not useless there. He was knowledgeable, but his knowledge without his professorship was still useless because he was serving under an illiterate that doesn't have a common entrance exam. He didn't have his WAEC exam. He was serving under somebody who didn't, not just about the WAEC exam, he doesn't have, somebody who didn't have wisdom, didn't improve himself in any way. And in this case now, look at they took a drug baron. After taking a drug baron, as if that is not enough, they went and took the leader of Boko Haram to be the vice president. A leader of Boko Haram. Somebody who has been linked with the case of Boko Haram. You saw somebody, one of the security officials that came to make a testimony in Channel Television. Most of you must have watched that video. When that man was saying that there are members of Boko Haram who are governors. There are members of Boko Haram who are in the Senate. There are members of Boko Haram who are in Asarok. One of the people he was talking about is this Shetima, who has now finally become your vice president. Somebody that was investigated, and they saw the link he had with Boko Haram. As if that is not enough, we saw captured and prosecuted members of Boko Haram eating with him in his home. Wanted Boko Haram members were found eating with him. We saw them in picture. But today, this is the person they saw as a candidate of vice president. If you can tell yourself the truth, look through everything I have said and examples. Go back and make your verification, and you are going to find more facts. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Sometimes I will begin to ask, does it mean that these people that are talking about one Nigeria being better tomorrow or next tomorrow, does it mean that they are not seeing what we are seeing? Does it mean that they have a different social media that they watch apart from this one that we are looking at? Does it mean that the conventional media that they are watching is different from the one we are looking at? Does it mean that they are existing in a different planet from this very one we are existing? Or does it mean that they are talking about a different Nigeria, not this one that the British put together? Because when you look through everything that is happening, all you see everywhere is chaos. All you see is deceit. All you see is failure. Even in the roadmap and plans, you see failure staring at you from the beginning. At every given point in time, you will see failure staring at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That is how bad it has become. So I ask again, how long shall we continue to listen to this rubbish? How long shall we continue to allow ourselves to be enslaved? For my Biafran people, we are long gone. We are long gone. Our eternal leader knew that it's not going to work. He tried and tried and tried and tried again. He knew it wasn't going to work. He said, let my people go. Before he died, he said it, let my people go. Today, our supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is fighting day in, day out, knowing fully well that it's not going to work, and say, let my people go. And today, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our supreme leader, whom all of us revere, has now become a prisoner of conscience, detained illegally in the DSS, being tortured on a daily basis, being starved, not allowed to see his doctors. He's not allowed to have his praying materials. He doesn't allow to have his normal feedings the way it's supposed to be. He's not allowed to use his glasses. He has been denied of every human right that he has in the DSS. And yet, nobody is talking. The court of Nigeria has come out and say, you are discharged and acquitted. The court of Nigeria said that no court should try him again in those cases. In fact, they were instructed to pay him compensation and send him back to wherever he wants to go. But against all this that we are said in their own court, against all this judgment in their own court, they are still holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in captivity up to this moment. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still undergoing torture up to this moment. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still under solitary confinement up to this point for more than 2 years. And nobody seems to be talking. The Yohanes Ndibu don't care. The politicians, they don't care. The international communities care not about it. Nobody cares. And I tell you, the Biafran people will care. IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra, we care about our supreme leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And that is why we are embarking on the sit at home, which is going to start on Monday, 8th. 4-day sit at home to make sure that our voice is heard loud and to demand for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Starting from Monday, 8th, Biafra land will be locked down. And I have said it before. On this very sit at home, it is not going to be like every other one you have been seeing. We have gotten to the crossroad. It's either they leave Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or this is the time we will do what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, that if you don't see me, burn down the zoo. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. Any day you don't see me, burn down the zoo. We are going to apply that parable this time. There are so many ways to burn it down. We are going to lock down Biafra land. Not just Biafra land, every Biafran, wherever you are, any place you find yourself, you are going to participate in this sit at home. Prepare yourself. Get your food stock ready. Your shop is yours. Even if you're in Lagos, you're in Abuja, wherever you are, and you are from the indigenous part of Nigeria, any place you are in that contraption, if you care about your life and your future, you know, sometimes when we talk, all this while we are talking, people in Lagos, they are not part of it. All this while we're talking about sit at home, talking about the effect of the problem they have, people in Lagos care not. But this election have taught them a lesson. And I hope and I believe that they have learned a lesson. That is why we are saying that my people perish for lack of knowledge. They didn't have knowledge. That is why what happened to them during this election. If they have been paying attention all this while, it would have been a different ballgame. But they were not paying attention. They didn't care. They didn't care about what we are saying or what we are doing. They never cared. They didn't care about everything that we are saying and we are doing. They never cared. But finally, here are we today. They have now felt the heat. And every one of them, I believe, must have learned their lesson. So in this very 4-day sit at home, wherever you are, and you are from the old southeastern region, you must participate in it. Let us lock down the whole place. When you lock it down, let me see why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Civil disobedience is what we are calling for. Civil disobedience is the most peaceful way for you to make your voice heard. The most peaceful way for you to tighten up the grip on the government. The most peaceful way to put pressure on the government to obey your demands, to hearken to your voice. And we are going to tighten it up this time around. If you are a genuine Biafran and you care about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, if you are a genuine Biafran and you care about your future, the future of your children, born and unborn, the time has come for you to play your own card. This is a time that every one of us have a role to play. It is a time that every single one of us have to participate. We have a role to play. If you don't, it means you don't care. But I tell you, regardless whether you participate or not, I strongly believe that good number of Biafrans have made up your mind that the game is up and we are going. This month that we are in is a very critical month. I have said it and time again. It's a critical month. And we must have to take every single civil disobedience in this month serious. It is a month that you will live to remember. It is a month that you live to remember. Our Prime Minister of Biafra Republic Government in Exile, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, have said this and said it time and time again. The mighty moves that have been made in this month, both internationally and locally, the diplomatic moves that our Prime Minister is making, on his own side, he is playing his role fully the way it should be. He is playing a major role, doing mighty things internationally. So many diplomatic meetings are being held on daily basis. The ball is on your court. We have to do our own part. You and I. You and I, we have to do our own part. You and I, we have to do our own part. This month is a critical month. A lot of things is going to happen. A lot of things is going to happen. The Biafran people, you know, we lead and other people follow. We always lead and everybody follows. And that is why we are leading again. Starting from the 8th, let us lock down the whole place. On the 11th, we want to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. If we don't see him on the 11th, we are embarking on 2 weeks. And on that 2 weeks, remember, already that of 29th have been pronounced. 28th is coffee into 29. 29 is a total lockdown in Biafra land. And 30th, you know, is our Heroes Day. And remember, our Prime Minister have also announced that starting from 29th going forward, it doesn't matter whether you are a Biafran or not a Biafran. It doesn't matter whether you're from the old Southern region or the Eastern region. Any force you are, if you are in the military, you are in the Navy, you are in the police, you are in the army, whichever one you are, we don't want to see you in Biafra land without uniform. If you have a brother who is in the police, in the army, in the Navy, better take the message to them. When we see you in a territory without uniform, you will be treated as an enemy. You will be treated as an enemy. Those Biafrans who are still serving in the Nigerian police, in the Nigerian army, in the Nigerian Navy, you are there. They are taking the life of your brothers and sisters. You do nothing. Sometimes they force you to engage in taking the life of your people, and you get engaged in it. You indulge in it. You don't stand out to speak up for your people. You don't stand out to stop it. Enough is enough. We have lost so many souls. We have lost so many souls and continue to lose. And that is why our Prime Minister have made that statement that from 29th going forward, if you are serving in the military, in the Navy, whichever force, from 29th going forward, if you are coming to Biafra land, take off your uniform. Don't be on your uniform if you want to be safe. If you want to be safe, do not be on your uniform. It doesn't matter your language. You can be Igbo, you can be Hausa, you can be Yoruba, you can be Efik, you can. No matter your language, no matter your religion, we do not want to see those uniforms in our territory anymore. As I told you, A lot is going to happen this month. A lot is going to happen. And they have already started when we talked about the Islamization of Nigeria, people didn't believe it. When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talked about the Fulanization and Islamization of Nigeria, people didn't believe it, but it is happening for your own eyes. Do you know that they are trying to pass a bill to control how Christianity will be preached in Nigeria? Do you know? They are passing a bill to control how Christianity is being run in Nigeria. The bill have in fact passed the first and the second reading on how to control Christianity. The bill have passed first and second reading.